Hey everyone, it's Bronco from Apex Vaulting. I had an interesting question the other day by one of the parents. They were asking, Bronco, is there any way to, push my son or daughter a little harder? And it's an interesting question, like how do you push it as a vaulter? Now, traditionally speaking, I think when I hear people say, hey, we really got to push this athlete, in the pole vault, I think a lot of people are trying to push grip. I think a lot of people are trying to push poles. So whether or not the athlete is showing or displaying enough pole speed, enough pole bend to go up grip and or pole, they just do it anyway. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not how you push a pole vaulter. That is how you make some problems. If you really want to talk about how to push a pole vaulter, it's not with grip and pole. On the runway, you push them with drills. You make them do a drill over and over and over again if they're not good at it. And off the runway, it's with training sessions. Let's hit that weight room hard. Let's do that sprint workout. Obviously, even there, you have to be careful. You don't want anybody getting injured. But you could push the training, not pole and grip. And I've done videos about run-throughs, but I'll tell you what. You start pushing pole and grip when you're not supposed to, that's where an athlete starts getting stood up. That's where an athlete starts getting rejected onto the runway, and that's how we start having run-through issues. Because now the athlete does not trust the coach on whether or not they can handle a pole or grip. They don't trust themselves that they can get into the pit. And you've created a bigger issue than you think. Because now where do you go? Now you got to break it down. You got to slow it down. No. You want to push a pole vaulter? Push them in training sessions. Push them with technique. You don't push a pole vaulter with grip and pole. I think too, when I think about it, over the years, when I see the coaching where people do push athletes with grip and pole, I think a lot of times those are just coaches that don't know any other way to get you to PR. Their only solution is grip and pole. And yes, it is true. If you can grip higher, if you can get on a bigger pole, you will PR. But what do you have to do to get that grip and pole? I think a lot of those coaches, they just say try. You try the bigger pole and grip, regardless of whether or not you need it. I'm telling you, that's just bad coaching. I don't know how else to say it. You have to have a plan. Even if you think, okay, physically, this athlete needs to be faster. Great, how are we going to get them faster? Let's talk about a training plan. What are you going to do? Sprints, plyometrics, weight training, combination of all of them. If you think there's a technical flaw, let's say you think their plant is terrible, are you going to work on it? Or are you just going to keep telling them from a longer approach that their plant is bad? Because obviously their plant is bad for a reason. You have to break it down. You have to do drills. But I think coaches who just push pole and grip either don't know how to do anything else or are impatient. They themselves don't want to break it down and watch an athlete get broken down and don't want to watch the drills. They'd rather watch full jumps from longer approaches. It's laziness. I don't know what other options there are. If you're a coach that all you do is push pole and grip, you either don't understand how to coach enough and you don't know how to break it down, or you're lazy. There's a terrible example for the athletes. So if you are trying to push your athletes, great. Do it with technique. Do it with physical training. Don't push it with pull and grip. That's not the right answer. Have a good week, everybody.